3 weeks ago, the US government did something it had never done before. It used export controls to shut down an AI model. Not a chip, not hardware, but an AI model itself. That model's back online now, and half my LinkedIn feed wants to run their entire business on it. But that's the wrong lesson, and if you take it, it'll cost you money. I'm going to show you what business owners should actually take away from this, including the exact system I use with my clients to decide which AI model handles which task. Get this right and you stop overpaying for simple work and stop getting garbage output for the work that actually matters. So here's a quick summary of what actually happened because the details do matter. So on the 9th of June, Anthropic released Claude Fable 5, their most capable model ever made and publicly available. 3 days later, the US government issued an export control directive and the model goes dark for everyone everywhere worldwide. Now here's the part of the story that most people get wrong online. It wasn't shut down because it's too powerful. The trigger was a reported jailbreak, a claimed way of getting around the model's safety guardrails. But here's what makes it historic. Governments have used export controls on chips for years. This was the first time in history that export controls were used on an AI model itself. I mean, think about what that tells you. Governments now treat frontier AI models the way they would treat weapons-grade hardware. Now, about 2 weeks later, the restrictions were lifted and it's back and everyone can use it. So the hype is understandable, but the hype is leading business owners to an expensive mistake. The lesson to take away from this is that this is the best AI model, so you should use it on everything you've got. The right lesson is that the best model is not the right model for every task. Here's why that's not just theory, it's maths. If you're using AI through the API, which is how most automated systems run, the Fable 5 costs $50 per million output tokens. Anthropic's cheapest model, Haiku 4.5, costs just $5 per same million tokens. That is literally 10 times the price. So if you're running the premium model on simple high volume work, updating the CRM records, tagging leads, drafting basic follow-ups, you're paying 10 times the price for zero upside. The cheap model does the work just as well. But before you swing all the way to the other side, running your cheapest model on everything is arguably worse. It's like asking your intern to write the entire go-to-market strategy for your company. Sure, it's cheap, but you also end up with a strategy written by an intern. Both mistakes bleed money, one loudly and one quietly. So here's what I do with every client. There's 3 steps to it. Step 1 is we map out everything they do sales and marketing wise in their business. Lead research, CRM updates, proposal writing, follow-up emails, content drafts, reporting, landing pages. Get them all into one list. Most business owners have never done this task, and it is quite confronting the first time you do it. You'll often find 30 to 50 separate tasks. Step 2 is that you sort each task by 2 questions. Is this a high stakes task, i.e. is it expensive to get it wrong? And 2, is it a high volume task? Does it happen dozens of times or hundreds of times every month? Step 3 is that you assign a default model to each task. High stakes gets the expensive model, i.e. Fable 5, and high volume gets the cheap one, i.e. Haiku 4.5. That's it. It's not complicated, but almost nobody does it. And businesses quietly bleed money in both directions, overpaying on volume work or underpaying on the work that actually wins them clients. Now, I've turned this into a 1-page task to model mapping doc. It's the exact one I use with my clients, the task list template, the 2 sorting questions, and my current model assignment for the common sales and marketing tasks. When I posted about this on LinkedIn last week, I got quite a few people messaging me. So what I've done is put it in our school community, which is the LinkedIn Founders Club. I put a link to that in the description, so you can drop your email there to apply, and you'll get it in your inbox in about 1 minute. Right, now let's make this concrete with real examples. So the cheap model work, HiQ 4.5 is high volume, low stakes tasks. So that's things like updating CRM records after every call, tagging and categorizing leads, first draft follow-up emails, and meeting note summaries. If the task is repetitive and a small error is annoying but not costly, HiQ works every time. Now, the premium model work is the high stakes, complex tasks. So think about multi-step analysis, like working through why your pipeline's dried up across 6 months worth of data. Building landing pages, heavy technical or coding work, anything that's long running with lots of moving parts. And the premium model genuinely earns it on this work. One example from the Fable 5 launch is Stripe used it to complete a migration across a 50 million line code base in a single day. Their estimate for doing that manually, over 2 months with a full team. That's the pattern. On complex work, the expensive model isn't a luxury. It's the cheapest option per finished task. But on simple work, it's a bonfire. Now you may be thinking, Tommy, I don't use APIs. I just pay $20 a month to chat to the thing. This still applies to you, it just shows up differently. So on a subscription, you're not billed per token. You get a usage allowance. And the premium models burn through that allowance dramatically faster than the cheap ones. So if you run Fable 5 on everything, you'll hit your limits midweek. And you either need to wait, pay extra, or get bumped down anyway. Same principle, different currency. On the API, you spend money. On a subscription, you spend limits. Either way, match the model to the task and pick the model from the drop-down deliberately instead of just using whatever's selected. Now, the US government shutdown story is fascinating. It's the first export controls on an AI model in history. But the business lesson isn't the new model is powerful, it's this. AI is now a portfolio decision. You wouldn't hire one employee to do everything in your company. So stop asking one AI model to do the same. Map your tasks, sort by stakes and volume, assign your defaults. The mapping doc in the school group will give you the whole system in one page. But there are some things you don't want to delegate to AI though, and that's the overarching channel strategy for your business. In this next video, I break down why Mark Zuckerberg, under oath in a federal courtroom, admitted that social media isn't social anymore, and what that means for where you should actually be putting your effort. See you there.